What's that?
I don't know.
Is that something animated? Well, in my, numbers?
No.
Really? Yeah, that's what they told me today. I'm definitely mapping.
It's right.
The first one. Oh, good. Well, yeah.
Anyone.
Did you start?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I want. I have.
We were looking.
42. I thought we were two, couple of 40, you know.
Thank you. I was fluid. I'm Brian.
That's okay. And then
Perfect. While over there, you'll just take care of it.
I-
Right. He's got. Can you hear us okay? Yeah.
Oh.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you hear us.
I can hear you. I just can't see anything. There's just a emblem.
Yeah.
They live in a house that, so there's a house.
Oh, there you are.
There. And, they came over and I got home. Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, no, 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 but honey. So it's funny, every look, when you can get off.
You getting all back on one of the bands here.
Future. Yeah. Dylan, yeah.
Yeah,
both are
here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. That weird. Like the wall better.
You can look at the chairs. I did look at a couple. No. Well, actually.
Yeah.
Are we broadcasting?
Yeah. It is now going live, so then I'll pull it onto the website and put it up there. So from now on, we'll do that, and then eventually I'll have it live, so they can zoom in.
Okay, so we're on Facebook Live.
Yeah, no, it'll still be YouTube. YouTube's our original.
But we're not live
Not
now,
live now.
not tonight.
No, just for Julie.
Okay.
It'll be all recorded and set up there, and then everyone can watch it. Yeah. But that is,
It just looks like a different interface.
oh, it's just Zoom, that's why, yeah. Yeah, so that right now it's recording and audio, it'll record the text and the video, and then they'll be all separate, but they'll all be one file too. So transcripts is easy there. It'll be fun with. So if they need it off, then it's gonna be on.
Or if you look through that, look through the packet.
Okay.
All right, meeting comes to order. It is 5:31. Please stand with the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Sharp,
President.
Councilmember Arnold,
Here.
Councilmember Bryson,
Here.
Councilmember Carlson,
Here.
Councilmember Carson,
Present.
Councilmember Gorman. Here. Councilmember Woodhouse,
Present.
City Attorney Norton,
Present.
City Planner Kovac,
Present.
County Chief Gates,
Here. You want to turn that one down.
Director Olson,
Here. Top. Yep.
City Clerk Olson.
That's-
Admin Assistant Seaver, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, one thing in here, I believe I forgot one thing to add on here, and that would have been, if council wants to revisit the other positions available for council. If that's something you'd like to add on here, or would you like to open the interview today?
I don't know, we have Daniel.
Yeah, Danielle's here. Our deadline, I believe, do you remember the cutoff date for that deadline for the second council position that's open? Julie?
I don't know exactly what date Eli resigned. Do you recall?
Yeah, that would have been not offhand, but it is on minutes. I think the second position has, I believe it has one more month.
It was around March or February, correct?
I think it was like March 15th.
March 15th, yeah, March 15th, so the 16th, yeah.
Okay, so you have 90 days from March 15th. Let me do the math. My dog is going crazy.
Yeah, Karen says, can we put it on?
Yeah, absolutely, no, absolutely, I just want to let you guys be aware that, hey, we're still talking, but if you have a chance you want to talk, she is here, that's all. Okay. All right, can we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion about what's on the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the mayor's message. So if you guys know online, I have been updating the city's website. There's a lot of changes on there. Please be patient with me. I also have, updated the new, the daily soap. So there'll be all new updates that are currently going on throughout the city to keep you informed. We had the Soap Lake, the Grant County Fire District 7 put a ice bucket challenge on the city. They called out me and the city employees here. So on the left here, we have Dylan. We have the Director of Director of Public Works, myself, Officer Biles, Officer Bezabanco, and Acting Chief Gates. We went out into the lake at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and we all immersed ourselves under the water to do our challenge. And then we called out for the challenge Grant County Sheriff Creek and then the agency, as well as the Grant County Jail, Derek J, Moses Lake Mayor and City, and the Freda Mayor and City too. So it's pretty fun. We do have spring cleanup coming here on the 23rd to the 26th. The times are labeled here as well. It is on the city's website. There will be someone down there at all times to help indicate that. Right here, if you look at your paper, they're all in the news. I each gave you one too. There should be some over there too as well. It gives an update from Public Works, what's going on, and how we're moving forward with Public Works. Lovely picture of that Soap Lake Suds on April 28th. I took that there. We are in the motion here for right now for working on the Soap Lake Dog Parks. So Public Works and everyone else here, what we're doing is we're going to section off a part of the fenced in area here to create 2 dog parks, a little safer environment for small or multiple people to come to the park as well. There will be 2 security gates, so one going in, another dog can go into the gate while another one approaches inside, so they don't have to worry about any type of interaction between their animals. There will be irrigation, we will be mowing, they are mowing right now, which is a good thing. There's also a financial report here from Mr. Valentine, which is separate from the one that we have here, which is in front of you currently right here now. And a big shout out to all the team that worked here with Karen Woodhouse and everyone at the Soap Lake Garden Club. If you haven't seen it, please go look at it. It looks amazing. It is it brings the balance to Healing Waters of Garden, so eco-friendly items that are here. And then Healing Bryson, you were there too, is also Susan Carson and Foley. So please take a look at that and subscribe. Tell everyone you subscribe, because we're gonna push these out pretty quick every month. We have about 414 right now subscribers. It is raising, so this is a fast and easy way for us to send information to everyone in the city. Not very much going on here. We have scheduled some interviews coming up here for the chief of police. So we're looking to hopefully have that done next on the 15th, was the interviews will start. As soon as we hear back from all the candidates and stuff like that, we'll pull that ball in motion as well. In front of you, I have placed risk management service agreements. These are typically for all the special events, the event permits, the ones that we have in the past. These coincide currently with AWC, our risk management insurance company. So please take your time to look at that, not every day, but throughout time, just take a look at it. All the permits and everything that I currently have right now for the events that are going on this year are still going through. They are approved, but we're just trying to implement this throughout the year. So then by the end of the year, you'll already know next year, and you'll basically be able to duplicate this. Like, here we go, simple. Yeah. So hopefully that relieves some stress with that. Yes.
I'm afraid to speak, it's gonna be loud. Okay, so all the events have been,
Oh, yeah, the events have been okay.
okay.
Yeah, so
Thank
even at the fund level, the beginning, the events have been already approved.
Okay.
It's just the venues going through the steps, like if they are going to serve alcohol, make sure they have their permits for that. If there's hold harmless agreements that need to be signed for people that are coming in, make sure they do so. If there's volunteers, make sure that they're filling out their paperwork for volunteers, and making sure that they are also writing down their hours. Because we not only have to turn it into our city insurance company, we also have to turn them into L9. And right now, during the audit that we're doing right now, they are asking for information too. So it's important that we tell them, hey, we have the plan in place. We are going to move forward this way. But this is just to get everyone in motion to where next year it's going to be a breeze. Yeah. But we will be doing a workshop here soon. And I'll get that done. I'm just trying to get all the information. We're going through the audit right now, so it's really congested. The auditor is coming next Sunday again here, and Jeff will be here to help with the audit too as well, because he's been working in the back right now. He's currently doing it now too as well. But we will set up a workshop. It will be open to the public, but it will be for council, so there's no engagement. We can allow it for the agencies that are currently going to be running events. I'm okay with that as long as council is okay with that, to engage the public during that time, because it'll help everyone in one, sure footing moving forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're gonna see Public Works is spending a lot of time up at the plant. You will see them throughout the city, but just let you know that what they're doing right now, very important work, and it's definitely gonna be great for the city. That's all I have for now, but if you ever want to talk, please, even everyone in the city too, come find me. I always have time. All right, we're gonna move on to reports of city officers. And we'll just start right here. The planning photo.
All right, good evening, council. A quick update on the permit reports for April. There were 4 new single-family residences that were permitted. One remodel, which is actually a stop work order that had to be investigated and corrected, but they've got their permit in place now. And then 1 preliminary short plat, dividing a parcel into 2 resident improved. An update on the 2025 comprehensive plan update. We had a great public hearing and good comments received.
And I got a great letter from the Department of Fish and Wildlife. So I had some substantial definition changes and corrections. So I'm going through and taking care of that. Some of their comments were pretty significant in restructuring some of our critical area organization. So I'm responding to them politely saying we're going to revisit that in our 2027 periodic update and take care of it then. But that's why it's not done tonight. I'll let it to you at the next council meeting. That's the goal. And then the grant window is now open for the city's required climate planning element in our comprehensive plan. The grant amount available is for $100,000. So that'd be for basically a 2-year planning process to incorporate the climate planning element in our plan. So as we move forward, we're responsive to risks associated with climate change, and it's required by the state. So I have provided information to the mayor and city staff to look through that. The deadline's June 2nd, so we'll get all that filled in, taken care of. And then once we move forward, we'll have to develop a advisory team within the city that helps represent underrepresented community members. And it'll be a lengthy public process, not unlike how we put together the creative district certification. So there'll be a lot of information going on that way. And it'll be about a 2-year process. By the time this is done, we want to incorporate it in our 2027 periodic update for our comprehensive plan. And that's all I'll report unless there's any questions from council.
And you said June 2nd was the closure for the grant
Grant.
application.
Yeah. And then once that grant gets approved, there'll be an agreement that'll have to be brought to council to approve. So there'll be another step, but we just need to get the application in by then. So. All right. Thank you.
Madam Chief Peets. Good evening. As I'm sure many of you have seen on Facebook, we're having windows being shot out with BB guns in town. If anyone has videos of the incidents or ones that seem suspicious, please contact us. Definitely trying to get that solved. Unfortunately, we've seen a sudden boom in DUIs. Over the weekend, we had 3 DUIs, and we got one last night. So 4 DUIs in a 4-night span. Can't express how disheartening it is to see so many people choosing to drive drunk instead of being a designated driver. Last week, we had 3 people in the academy as of May 5th, and Officer Tyler Smith started on the 5th. We have 2 graduating next week. So the 13th and the 15th, we have 2 that are coming out. As I cannot train 2 people at once, I've been in contact with some outside agencies to assist in the field training. And as of right now, it looks like they will be going to do onboarding, which is learning the computer systems, radar, all that stuff. It's about a 2-week process, and then they'll be starting patrol January 1st.
June.
Yeah, June 1st, not January 1st. I guess I'm ready to go back to the new year. Let's start this year over. Thank you. Director of Public Works.
We continue to be busy with the plan. We have both rotors running in the digester. We got probably 97% of the vegetation out of it. It's looking like a digester should. Seems to be functioning much better. Brian and I have been doing some continuing maintenance on the fine screen. It was a little bit worse than what we had hoped. We swapped over to the original clarifier that hadn't been running 20 years, so that we're able to do maintenance on the main clarifier that we use most of the time. It hasn't been, and I'm working off stuff that I've been told, but that clarifier hadn't been cleaned out in 20 years. So we're moved over to the other one. We're going to get that clarifier cleaned out, back online. First part of this week, we cleaned out the contact chamber. The word on that was it hadn't been cleaned in 40 years. So we got it cleaned out, running well. The guys are still working. We've got most of the irrigation going. We're still working on Main Street. There's some gremlins in there that I know Brian's trying to get straightened out. The new guys are doing very, very well. We're getting to the point where we can let them go off on our own, which is going to free us up to do some more stuff that we'd like to do. that maybe was just a little bit on the back burner priority wise. We are gonna start some weed mitigation on East Beach on Monday. And I think, and then, like the mayor said, we got the dog park mowed. We're gonna try to continue to keep that down. We're at least Peter and I are working on it closely. We're gonna at least try to get the water on for, drinking water for the pets. And then we'll work, eventually to get the irrigation on, so it's raining all the time and the extra fences. And then part of the deal Peter put together here for the paper was, I'm hearing some rumors around town on what the plant really does. And some of it's a little discerning. We do not do 300,000 gallons a day. We do on average between 90 and 100,000 gallons a day. The land that is across the street from the school has not had wastewater dropped on it since 1980, 1981. When they first rebuilt the plant, they were using the sprinklers to disperse the wastewater. They did that for about a year, and then there were concerns with drift towards the schools. So that was shut down, and that's when the rapid infusion beds were put up on the hill. So any wastewater that comes out of that plant is pumped up the hill and into 6 beds that are specially designed for the water to be, reintroduced into the ground. There are 3 wells that we constantly monitor above the plant to make sure that there's no contamination going into groundwater. As we stand right now, all of our tests are passing very, very, very well. So if anybody's got any other questions on that, let me know. And this is a sample of what's coming off the plant. I poured it right into the bottle. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, we're not putting treated sewer back into the ground. We're putting treated water back into the ground. And if you look at I'm trying to get the exact gallonage that we're pulling out. So we've got 2 wells that are pulling water out of the ground. And if you look at the trends of the numbers, we don't quite put as much back in as we pull out. So it's a pretty neutral deal where if we're pulling water back out, the residents are using the water, we're cleaning it back up and it's going back in the ground. And there's always a little bit more that we pull out than what we put in because the fire hydrants are used in the summertime. People are irrigating their lawns. So we'll be pumping more out than what we're putting in. But all in all, I think we're pretty close to neutral on that plan. And I think it's good for the community because it's much better that we're treating the water than it's going into drain fields. Because obviously there's no treatment when it's going into a drain field. So that's all I got. If anybody's got any questions, please ask.
Thank you very much. And I do remember the portion of that when you first started, you will not be able to see that at all. So the fact that all the tests have passed 100%, and they're like, you're doing great. You've redone all the paperwork that's needed for the state. You've initiated different protocols and procedures, and then even over and above, there's certain checklists that they have to do for every testing. He has extra testing to help monitor himself and through all of the Department of Ecology and everything as well.
So, just to be clear, the entire green area, well, front, it's not very green, it sounds like it will be, that goes parallel to the road between the school and the property you manage, has not been used for 25, 30 years, 40?
So the property across from the schools has not been used in 45 years.
45 years.
There is still an emergency drain field there. So if we had a catastrophic failure at the plant for some reason, there is an emergency drain field. It was not designed to be an emergency drain field. It was designed to be able to process all of the effluent from the plant. But it's just not used. We could use it if we had like I said, a catastrophic failure, but it has none of that stuff. And another deal too, there's been something that popped up online that wasn't permitted through the Department of Ecology. I spoke with GNO today about it, and they're not sure where that rumor came from. That drain field was put in 45 years ago, and the DOE would have been all over it because the whole plant was remodeled at that time.
So way up to the, what would be the southwest is where we dump. On the other side of the building, that's even higher.
Yes, probably 200 feet to the west and over. It's just set off a little bit side, but it's halfway to the water tower.
So the last time I went up there, has the sign that says this is a drain field at the corner been removed?
No, I was gonna bring that up. Judith came up and did a tour of the plant and reminded me that on Road 20, there's a sign that says wastewater discharge site. And we're afraid that might be part of where the concern's coming. So that will be removed very soon.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a great picture.
Yeah, so here's the current wastewater treatment plan. And here's the safe beds. You don't see it's up over that knoll and stuff, yeah. And there's a sign down there, I believe, that we have still removed.
No, the sign's actually closer to the school. It's down there in that, by that green spot. But, and then you can't really see them, but there are 3 monitoring wells that sit around those. So we're able to go in and check the groundwater and make sure, everything's kosher.
Eli?
Yeah.
Were you able to, get rid of that vegetation that was in that drain field area? I know that you and I had talked about that.
No, so we're gonna work on that. Historically, it had all been burned.
Right.
And then I'm not sure if there was a city ordinance or something that was written that allowed them not to burn it, but that is probably really the best option for the type of bed it is. So that's what we're gonna move towards, is seeing if we can work with the fire department, so that maybe they'll come in and burn it for us too. I don't know.
Great training, thank you.
Yeah.
And Julie, I believe as a city, they have the ability, if they need to do any type of fire prevention for the mitigation of weeds on city property, as long as we have the helping hand of the fire department, we have the ability to do that as well, right?
That is correct. And you can even do fire mitigation on private property under your city codes.
That we'll be doing that down at the beach too, we got all the DOB, and then some of that weed mitigation down there that's on the beach. The best way to remove it is, basically
Weed burner.
weed burner, yeah. So we'll get all the large vegetation. So if you do see someone down there with a weed burner, obviously they're gonna have the proper PPE, fire extinguisher, stuff like that, to get the weed mitigation off the beach as well. Thank you very much. If you always have questions for him too, please just get a hold of him. He has a business card, but yeah, it's a great thing. All right, do we have anything from service? No. All right, I'll read Jeff's little statement here real quick. This is Mr. Valentine. This is what he put up in the financial report here for the online portion I have. As of the end of 2025, the financial outlook for the city of Soap Lake continues to improve, with several city funds demonstrating a significant progress. Many key operating funds have transitioned from a negative to a positive, showing a stronger fiscal condition for the city. The water fund, which faced challenges at the beginning of the year, has made it turnaround, shifting a negative balance to a positive balance of $553,696.14 by the end of April. The substantial improvements position of the city better addresses its water infrastructure needed moving forward. So similar to the general fund reported a positive month in April, reaching a positive balance of $96,921.18. The street fund also experienced impressive growth, now showing a healthy balance of $102,332.05, which will support ongoing street maintenance improvement projects, which we're going to be implementing here pretty quick. Revenue stream performance well. The city's revenue we maintain the target, the general fund having received the strong cash flow that we have right now. These financial improvements reflect a commitment to responsible fiscal management and strategic planning, as I stated The positive fund balance provides us a greater flexibility to address community needs and maintenance to essential services. A lot of things that Public Works is doing right now, those are the funds that we need to be using to update the plan and to make sure that we're responsible as running the city for the people in the city as well. Strong cash position. As of April, the Treasury report indicates that the city maintains a strong adjusting ending balance of 1.9 million. So across all funds, the local government investment pool, the LGIP, has a healthy balance of $981,808.55. That demonstrates that the city's sound investment strategies. Additionally, the sewer utility fund remains in a solid positive with a balance of $705,919.08, ensuring reliable service for the residents while we build reserves for the future improvements. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and look at that. We will be updating that. I'm trying to do it every 2 weeks, but regardless, I'm going to definitely have it up there every month. And any type of financial that were provided by Jeff for funds and budgets, they will also be posted online as well. All right, we'll move on here to reports and standing and special committees. I would like to start off here with a presentation first from GTA. We have a representative from GTA.
Good evening, Mayor Sharp, Council. My name is Eric Loomis. I'm the General Manager for Grant Transit Authority. Thank you for this opportunity to be here this evening. Just want to explain a little bit of who GTA is and some of the projects that we have going on right now. A few familiar faces. Hello to Julie as well. She's our council as well. So I've been keeping her busy the last several weeks with one of our new projects we have going on. So we were voted to be a public transportation benefit area in 1996 by the county. And with that came a 0.02% sales tax throughout the whole county, which created Grant Transit Authority. And since then, we have not went back out to the county for any increases in that sales tax or anything. Whereas according to the law, you can get up to the 0.9%, right below 1% there. So we're proud of the way we've handled those finances since the inception of Grant Transit, and certainly have no intention of increasing that. And so with that, I have a board of directors of 10 councilors and mayors throughout the county, Mayor Sharp, who sits on our board, as well as 7 other mayors and councilors, 1 county commissioner, and then 1 non-voting union representative. So we serve the whole county, over 2,700 square miles of the county. In 2024, we gave over 137,000 fixed route rides. Then we also gave 34,000 rides for our access program. That's the ADA folks with disabilities that we contract with People for People with that program. And then some of our more rural programs, we've given over 4,400 rides last year to some of the outlying cities. And I'll talk about touch a little bit more on that here in a minute. Our 2025 budget for this year, it's about $12,000 for operating, and it's about that consists of about 67% of that sales tax, and so that's about $8.5 million. The rest is we use that sales tax to leverage state and federal funding. So we get a lot of grant funding coming. We've got a great finance and resources manager that writes our grants for us, gets that funding coming in where we can leverage it. Our capital this year is a little over $10 million. We've got a large project going in that's about half of that at our maintenance facility, and then the other half goes into buses. Usually federal funding comes in for capital purchases for vehicles and other types of capital equipment. Such as battery electric buses. We now have 4 of those on site and operating. And then we have propane vehicles and diesel and gasoline as well. So some of the services we offer. So we have fixed route service primarily in Moses Lake to Freda, and then we have a shuttle that comes up here to Soap Lake, down to Quincy, and then over to Wharton. That's our fixed route service that runs on a time schedule Monday through Friday. We have our dial ride transportation system that's more regional to the whole county. And that runs basically when we get scheduled calls that come in. But we do have services running every day up to the north, Grand Coulee, and some other areas that bring students down to the CB Tech College to do courses there throughout the week. So that's been a good program for them and for us. And then we have Access. I mentioned that's our people for people contract that provides or federal requirement of a 3/4 mile from our fixed route system for folks with disabilities that need those rides that can't get to the fixed route services. And then we have a rideshare program as well throughout the county. We have about 7 vehicles in that, and they either start in the county and go out of the county, or they can start out of the county and come into Grant County. And we have a lot of school administrators and teachers that take advantage of that program. Some things we're working on right now, some of our projects. So the big one I mentioned, our maintenance facility. We are doubling the size of that facility, and so that's about a $7 million project total. It's looking to be finished up this year, some point in the fall. That'll give us an extra couple bus bays to service our vehicles. So we're pretty excited about that to get finished up. Our board was able to tour that. They had a retreat in May and see the progress that we're doing on that. Another service project that we're doing, we have some fixed route changes and some DART changes coming up in September. Hopefully we'll roll that out. We're looking to roll that out with the school year because we have a couple routes that we're extending by some schools, including Soap Lake. So one of the routes we have, the one we have here, we're going to extend the frequency some more times on the schedule for that route. And then it's going to extend right in front of the school. So kids can get to school on transit and throughout town if they need to. Our DART service, a couple components, programs within that. One is the regional. Again, we're going to expand some more frequencies and trips. I believe Royal City, we're going to start a CB Tech shuttle down there if we can as well. And then we also have a program, or a new one we're starting called Service for Seniors. It's going to be a pilot program starting in Moses Lake. And if that's successful as a pilot program, we'll expand that onto other cities within the county. And so that goes beyond the required minimum access ADA requirements that we have. And it's going to provide service. There's a very simple sign up to be involved in that program. And then within the radius of not just the city limits, but kind of the greater area and neighborhoods surrounding the city, we'll be providing a dial ride type service, a door-to-door service for the seniors. So we're pretty excited about getting that launched off this fall as well. Some of our challenges we've been having is communication, marketing, and outreach. I don't know who here knows, but our service is fare free, so you can just get on a bus and go. During COVID, we took the fare away, and we were able to do that with a state grant that we're still getting. So any funds lost by it going fare free were replenished by that state grant. So we continue to do that by doing a quarterly survey and delivering that to the state so they understand where our numbers are. And just communication in general. And one of the reasons I wanted to come here tonight is put a face to the name of GTA and be a contact for counselors, for city administration, to really be able to get that communication just to be a little bit better. I know you, last year, I believe you guys worked on a bus stop facility for us, and that turned out really well. We were really excited about that. And so as we look for expanding our routes to the school area, looking for some of those opportunities to work hand in hand and get our information out there. And with that, we're going to be looking for an FTE, get a person in our office to work communications, marketing, and some outreach for us. So that's something we're going to look towards this next year. employee shortages, drivers, we're always looking for drivers. It seems like as soon as we get enough in the door, one or two goes out the other door. And so that's, as we expand these services, we're gonna be trying to hire a few extra drivers this summer. And then fuel types, as the world is moving towards zero emission, we're probably slightly behind that curve. We have, I mentioned before, electric vehicles, electric buses. And we're dragging our feet by design on that to make sure we have the infrastructure in for electric. And with that, what Julie has been helping us with is we're acquiring some land in Ephrata for a transit center in Ephrata. And so that will really help us. And the ink is still wet on the purchase sale agreement, but that was finalized yesterday. And we will be, it's the Berry Automotive car dealership, if you're familiar with Ephrata there. So we're going to be looking at turning that into a full transit center. It's already somewhat set up with some high capacity electrical. But we'll be working with PUD to get more electrical in there for our charging vehicles and then charging vehicles for the public. And that will really help us dispatch vehicles from Ephrata up to Soap Lake, down to Quincy and along this corridor a little bit better than all the way from Moses Lake with the charging issues some of the electric vehicles have. So that'll be a huge benefit for the community of Ephrata and then again Soap Lake and those surrounding communities as well. So we're really excited about that. We'll have a master plan for that property. We'll come out to the public and see what folks want that to look like. What kind of amenities we want in that transit center. So that's very exciting. And then the hydrogen, there's a zero emission green hydrogen that's becoming more readily available in Washington. I'd say that there's been one hydrogen bus delivered in Washington State, and much more to come this year. And that was I forget which county that is now, Lewis County. That was in Lewis County, and they're building their own hydrogen station on campus. And if you get the grant funding for that, that can be a cost benefit. However, most of what we would be looking at least to start with, would be the shipping hydrogen in. And there are some hydrogen stations being built on the in the region, but they're just not there yet. So once they get there, once costs for hydrogen vehicles and electric vehicles come down, we'll start getting that around a little bit more as they as they become more reliable as a diesel or gasoline vehicle. So, with that, is there any questions from the council for me?
It sounds really exciting. Good for you guys. I'm curious though, you have 0.02% sales tax that's funding this, and you mentioned something about you can go as high as 0.9, but you're not doing that?
I mean, I'll do what the board wants me to do as far as encouraging that, but it's essentially that would go out to the voters if we were to simply go up 1.01, 0.02 more than we are. Currently, I don't, in my opinion, we grow as the county grows, we shrink as the county shrinks. So we would adapt to those changes, and we are nimble enough to adapt if we need to, both expanding where we need to, if a new business goes in, if a new school goes in, those kind of things. We do have to go through a public comment process, but we would be able to accommodate those needs.
So your funding is primarily state and federal funds?
Well, it's 67% local sales tax. The rest would be a mix of, we're a rural reporter, so even any federal grants come through the state, so we would apply to the state and WashDOT helps us determine that they will go after that federal funding for us if necessary. And so from there, we see if it's a federal or state, but they're the ones to determine where the money can come from.
Okay, thank you.
So what can we do in Soap Lake, and particularly perhaps the city, that would be helpful to GTA?
Yeah, great question. Well, you're doing a good job already having Mary Sharp on the board, my board. Being vocal, and that's.
Yes, he's on the
important.
GTA board and has
Yeah.
been
Yeah,
historically.
yeah, so I'm not here in Silver Lake every day, you guys are, so knowing what your constituents want, out of, Grant Transit Authority, well, out of transit, what the needs are. That's very helpful at a local level for me to see. I can come down as much as I need to help understand that, but really facilitating that, or through, city administration, public works planning, engineer design. Again, the plan for that, the bus stop community that got completed last year started before I came, 18 months ago, and that started that process was great. So, just continuing that working relationship, as we go along. We have funding for, if we have a bus route, we need a bus shelter or sidewalk fix or crosswalk, we can help facilitate that as well. Or look for grant funding within the FTA or WashDOT.
So Peter's doing the newspaper now, the mayor is doing the newspaper. Maybe you can do a little blurb, you know.
I see a nice big fair for you across the top there, PTA. Thank you.
So how do you assess, the route, the frequency of the trips?
Great question. There's a couple different ways. One would be, it depends on what demographic we're looking at. If it's employees, workers going to work, it's not necessarily 8 to 5 anymore, as traditionally as it has been. So that would be commuter heavy times where you have more frequency in the morning and afternoon, a lot more spread out. The schools are fairly simple. We know the schedule, so we can accommodate those. But really, it's that communication piece that we're kind of missing with an outreach person. It's constant communication between employers and us to know if there's shift changes, there's time changes. And then there's a kind of a minimum frequency you need, and that's right now we have a lot of 30-minute, 60-minute frequencies. If that's cut down, those are cut in half to 15 or 30-minute, then it's going to be more reliable service. If you miss a bus and you have to wait 60 minutes, it's hard. It's something hard to do. If you can get on, if you know that another bus is going to be in there in 15 or 20 minutes, that's a little bit more digestible if you miss a trip. So outreach is kind of a big key, and then keeping in communication with communities, employers, schools, assisted living facilities.
I was just curious to know if there was any kind of a public survey that was ever out just in the general public. I'm a fan of public transportation. I researched, I haven't done it for a couple of years because it just didn't work for me. I wanted to see what connections I could do to go shopping at Safeway and get back here. And it was like a 2.5 hour trip. And it was like, I can't, the price is right. My time was not okay. So, and I just wondered how you assessed the needs for that.
Yeah, it's a tough balance, especially when it comes to choice riders. And I myself, I lived in the Portland metro area for 10 years, and I would go against traffic because I wasn't working in downtown Portland, but it would take me 45 minutes if I took the bus, 10 if I drove. So, and I was the operations manager making schedules. So, the complexities of it, trying to make, do we try and do all of these residential stops, or do we have an express route that gets folks from A to B? And so the challenge there is doing a little bit of both, but having local circulars and then having the express between the intercity connectivity. So that's what I'm hoping to try and change and make it a little bit more convenient. And with the higher frequencies, again, this fall, we'll be increasing some of those to Stoke Lake. So hopefully that cuts that 2.5 hour trip down to where it's reasonable. Maybe not every day, but once in a while, if you time it right, you can get there within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, because I believe, Grant, you are actually mitigating some routes to remove them, so they are closer way to a faster speed. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Right now, one of the new changes, and we'll be the end of this month, May, and into June, we'll have a 30-day public comment period. We'll be up here again. I'm probably with my operations manager, Beth Carlson. She'll be here as well, in some capacity. And So we are streamlining, so to speak, or making more of an express route, from the transit center, multimodal transit center in Moses Lake to Freda and then up here. So right now we'll transfer, at the college, and, so this will make it so there's no transfer. You're on the same bus from point A to point B. And we took out a lot of the local stops, and we're gonna put those on some of the local search words. So it'll be more of a true express. So yeah, I think we cut out 20 minutes of that route from downtown Moses Lake to Freda.
Thank you. Yes.
The economic,
Development.
that you're hoping will be here downtown, you know, the busing would certainly help with that. One of the things I want to mention is that I know that a singular woman started GTA in the past with one bus.
Yes.
One bus. And it was, I heard her story when I first moved here, and you can probably tell it better than me, but I want to congratulate her and all those who have come after her, because I too am of public transportation, especially as I get older and I don't want to drive. So.
Yeah, thank you. I had statistics on my fancy presentation, but I think it was that first month, we had one bus and about 400 rides. And that's expanded to now, our annual rides of over 130,000. So it's definitely expanded over the last several years.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. If you have any questions about GTA 2, their website is very informative, and on the portion of our website, I will be putting on there section for GTA, because they do have a live map update where it shows you where the bus is at and transit to. I know a lot of people that come down right in front of the city hall, they do come and request that quite frequently, which it does help. It's very, very informative. All right, we will start with the creative district.
Oh, we will? Well, we're finishing up our onboarding process. We had, our third meeting with the state yesterday, and we are working on, doing our communication with webpage development, social media, and we're planning a celebration later on in the season after some of the bigger events happen, so we can give some attention. But we're partnering with other groups in the community to make that happen. So it's exciting, happy about it. And our wayfinding sign, or not our wayfinding signs, our highway sign will be here by the end of June, I believe. Yeah, which is going to be out on the highway when it's like, well, come on into the creative district, and if they're all driving in, well, what do we do now? So we're kind of working hard to get up to speed, but it's been an exciting trip.
Thank you very much. The utility committee, anything from you, John?
Yeah. So the utility committee's been meeting, and we're looking for new members. So anybody that's interested, please contact me or Nels Bork. He's on our committee. Speaking of Nels Bork, he has just taken over responsibility as chair of the committee. And so in the future, he'll be making committee reports to the council. We've been working with our city treasurer, Jeff Valentine, communicating with him well. One of the things that we're doing, Jeff has identified that due to the rate increases that we had last year, our surplus funds are growing as predicted. And one of the things that the committee is looking for, Jeff provides us with financial reports, but we need to be a little bit smarter in the committee about how to decipher the report itself. So there's coding that's involved, and so we're working with him on the coding to try to understand what each one of these line items means, as well as identifying the amount of surplus that we are collecting. And the visibility of, any, if anything was to happen to surplus, if it was transferred or anything else, or we have good visibility of that transfer. So we know whether it's happening or not. So, Jeff's been very helpful and we're continuing on with that
He's
process.
excited about that. He loves that. He loves the numbers and showing that pattern. So that even with the city, when we do purchases, we stay with the credit cards, we like checks, because we want to check because we can track it. So the fact that you're doing that just helps that we just show the whole movement from start to finish for your projections in the future. That's great.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Judith?
I'm reporting on the, progress at the liaison committee. And, at our last meeting, we decided that, well, let me give a little history. We presented to the city council, the possibility of a decision on their part, our part, to, not remove any mineral water from the lake. And it got kicked back. And as we discussed at the last couple meetings, we decided that we need to do a lot more research about some pretty specific things. And so coincidentally, I got a call from the DOE, the Department of Ecology, that they wanted to present something, and we kicked it over to the Conservancy, and I'm going to give a comment later about that. But it's a research project that is also being handled by the Bureau, the Department of Ecology, various committees since the Outstanding Resource Water went through. And so the liaison committee, which could use some members who are interested in that, in the lake and keeping it healthy, and what we can do as a city for them, support. We'd love to have you come forward and just come to a meeting and check it out. 1 o'clock on Friday, the first Friday. So I'll be perhaps giving you some other data at the end and we have a comment.
Thank you very much. Vice President Chamber of Commerce.
I want to hand this over either to Caroline or Nels. I think we need to focus on Sandblaster and what we've got going on there.
No?
You want to talk about
Yeah.
Sandblaster?
Yeah, that's true.
Today, Eli and Brian walked the lava links and decided what needs to be done. They're all ears and they're ready to go. I think Monday we're going to start it. We're going to get a truckload of sand and redo the drains. And I think everything's moving smoothly. They promised me it's going to be as good looking as I did. So.
And Central Painting did get back to me, so they will be here on Monday as well, and Tuesday to paint the bus stops.
Yeah, Armand Miller talking to him. Right. And we are looking forward to a good time. We had a lot of heavy items that need to be brought for the event on that Saturday. I spoke with Eli about possibly storing and staging some of the things across the street in the city hall.
Yeah, we're making room in the far garage.
Yeah, that would save us a lot of time, so we don't have to get up at 2 a.m. to make sure everything happens. We can do it slowly, and accurately too. But I think it's going to be a good time. We have about 22 people registered already, or the 36 that we're limiting it to. And it's going to be fun.
What's the date?
17th, Saturday the 17th, 9 o'clock registration. 9:30 start, and, I got my kilt out, ready to go. So join us.
Thank you very much.
Just to add to that, you can go on to the chamber website and sign up for the registration. There will also be raffle prizes. Addition to that, and there'll be t-shirts available also for purchase. So make sure you come out, even if you don't want to golf, they'll have the Sandblaster t-shirts. They're really nicely designed as always. And you come out, and those participating are encouraged to dress up as your team, or come down as an individual and you'll get put with a team. So come check it out. It's a good time. And who doesn't want to say they golfed at the world's worst golf course?
Eli, are you welcome? On the team? What's that? What's happening? We're going golfing? Sorry. It's really exciting now. Any other standing committees? Else here? We're gonna move on to public comment here. Please keep commenting under 3 minutes per person, no matter the agenda or something that you can talk about. Anyone like to make a public comment today? Yes.
Marcia, 419 Main Avenue West. It's too bad you guys weren't out in the water yesterday. I went down, oh, this is too loud. There were 3 guys out there. They weren't out that far, they looked like they were up to their waist. And I don't know if they had shovels or they had Geiger counters or I don't know what they were looking for.
So they look for any type of metal, sharp objects.
Yeah.
Yep, so then they help, I believe they're just removing it off the beach. The bags, sometimes people might lose a watch.
Well, this is a lot further out there.
Yeah, someone turned in a wallet in the other day.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it was kind of dubious, I really didn't know. It was Snoopy, like, then I wasn't gonna walk out there.
They go out there, they're usually out there really early. There's 3 of them. They'll go around, they scan the whole beach. They walk right out in the water as far as they can.
Okay, well, it's curiosity gets to me.
Ms. Page.
Want this on?
Yes, please.
Okay, excuse my language if I get carried away, please let me know.
And,
Anyway, my name is Thomas Page, I'm at 636 Ashby Street, and I usually don't do this, but I want to thank Mr. Olson, because good to see the supervisor outside of his truck, working, sweating, and that's part, he was alone, which means his crews were out doing something else. Just start to doing what you're doing, change, kind of takes a while to sink in. I was hoping, utility committee would, redo their numbers that you guys voted on last year because you guys have the wrong information by my understanding. So even if you're only ruling it by 50%, you're showing the community we're not a commodity. Because, you guys, the idea was to build up the nest egg, so if the rainy day comes, but you guys had all these water problems. And my understanding is you guys already tapped into it, put some of it back for the general funds. And you guys said that's not what your intention for it. My other problem is, as a government, you guys are supposed to make sure you have a fully staffed government. Mr. Arnold turned his application in, and that she's out there for over a month after we turned it in. Ms. Taylor over here turned hers in over 2 weeks ago, and you guys are still letting out sheets that are empty. And this guy's got the sheet, you guys use part of the excuse, nobody volunteered. Well, some people volunteered, and you just want to sit off the background, and you guys use that as an excuse to downsize the council. You didn't have no public input in it, you guys just used that, and then you see that's part of the reason to downsize. And you had to get that date in to take the sheet off, otherwise you would have had to wait till 2027, and personally, that was chicken shit. Because you didn't give us a vote, them sheets over to us. You got to represent me and my family. I got 3 households in this town. And what your guys' decision affecting my life, affecting my wife's life, my daughter's life, my mom's life, my brother's life, my grandson's life. And we don't like it, but it's okay. If we complain, not need to care. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Most of the time I've been watching on video and shit coming down here because got that hard, got that one, it's no work done. And I stress on what you guys are doing, it's just not my problem. And if I didn't have that, thank God I wouldn't be here, but them seats being empty is bullshit. And excuse my language, is bullshit. Same thing with the utility bill, I didn't agree with it, but you know, we had to have that money there. We got wells, water towers, and something's gonna go sideways someday, and the money's not gonna be there. It's not, if you guys got into it and moved up, because that bubble was bigger, it's like, hey, let's grab some of that, put it over here. You know, and if the numbers were wrong, we got adjusted, even if you only go over 50%, it shows that you guys, you know, are thinking of us and consider projects, because a lot of these projects don't affect me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Page.
Yep.
So I'll help address some of them. So, the water towers currently, we are doing assessments on them currently. Mr. Olson, if you want to explain some of the things that they're doing with those right now to help mitigate some of that, some of Mr. Page's concerns with that too, as well as the funding's going.
So actually the East Reservoir was inspected today. It will be the last time we use that company. Actually, our city clerk had found, she's been running all this stuff, anything that is going through Public Works. I look over it now and we found a contract that we've been paying $1,800 a month on for what I equate to an extended warranty on a car. So with that, they would come in and do the towers every or do the East Reservoir every 3 years for free, but, we're able to have that done by a private company at a fraction of that cost. So, we are looking at that. So, I mean, $1,800 isn't a big swing, but it's definitely something.
That's $1,800 a month.
$1,800 a month.
And the other one's around 2,000.
If we have cleaning done, it's $3,000 every 3 years. So, in the scheme of the 3 years, quite a big sum of money. The West Reservoir hasn't been inspected in, quite a while, so we're working with the local company to come over and do that one for us. We were looking at the 5-year plan. I need to talk with Alex after the meeting. We're adjusting the scope on that to make sure that we're covered for growth. The last one done for the wastewater plant was done in 2016. And there's some stuff that they had on it that we probably don't need anymore. And there's some more things that we probably do need. Hopefully with that, we're able to get that stuff covered with grants. And then the same with the water system, with the addition of the new neighborhoods that are most likely going to come in. We're going to need to put some more water boosters in, or booster stations. So we're really trying to get an eye on that and keep be able to forecast what we are going to need. And we're trying to do the maintenance on the plant so we don't have breakdowns. But they've been neglected for a while, so it's been a little bit of a rough road.
Yeah, like for instance, like the auger, that needs to be replaced and everything inside of its entirety too. And do you have a number? We get a number for that whole thing yet?
The fine screen that basically takes everything out of the water coming into the plant, it should not be in there to stop people flush down the toilets. I think Brian's on a calculator in there the other day, but it was in dire need of repair. Brian and I took it apart on Saturday and it was way worse than what we thought. So I think initial parts was $3,500 and I think we'll probably triple that in parts. The plus to it is that, we did a quote with them and they were going to charge us about $10,000 for them to come out and do the labor. And we're doing that in-house. So we're at least saving the labor on the project. And if they had come out, they wouldn't have enough parts. So we would have probably ended up paying them to come out twice. But so it's just things like that. If we can keep up on it, it'll save the city a lot of money doing preventative maintenance instead of fixing some of this stuff when it breaks. And then just put everybody at ease they did put that in, they left the old manual bars in, which means these are screens. And I really want to thank Brian if he's back there, because he's been the one that I think has been cleaning them out, and it is not a fun job. So he's down there about 2 or 3 times a day. So thank you, Brian. So
So I go up there quite often, so I like to help out and those things not to do. So to see them both, they're both working and, you know, use them, physically have to go in there, remove some of the things, the positions they have to be in to be able to do that maintenance, it's, yeah, so my hat's off to them, you know, they're in deep. Yeah. Right, so hopefully it helps with some of them, when we're trying to move, make sure that the things that are properly need to be, that the funds are used for, goes for the city, for the city's infrastructure in its entirety, and the same with the utilities, there will be transparency where the funds are going. All right, any more comments?
Use this thing. Barb Carlson, Barwood, Board Lake Shore. And it's tough to follow the sewage treatment issues, I gotta say. But one of the basic tenets of good, solid marketing for the city, for the creative district, for the chamber, is solid branding and colors and fonts. And it's disappointing to me to see that we are moving away from what the city developed, I don't know how many years ago it was, that was somewhat retro with the font. The colors were fun and cheery, and it spoke to the colors of the area. There was orange that matched the cliffs, there was the blue for the sky, blue for the water, yellows. I mean, they're really cheery and fun. And so I find it disappointing to see us consistently moving away from it now. And I just want the city to think about the opportunities for being consistent in how we present ourselves to the public and to our potential tourists coming into town, so that they don't get kind of a mixed up idea about who is someplace. So.
Thank you. Absolutely.
So, I was gonna ask that we put the branding information on next council meeting, because I researched it and I found the package. So I think because we have a lot of new people, and this was in 2017, city council passed this. It was 67,000 and extra, over 70,000 dollars for it, and we approved it. And I just think people just don't know that it's there because we haven't used it for a while. But with the creative district coming on board, we're going to be doing wayfinding signs and all kinds of things, and we need to bring that all back to center. So I will make sure that we get to take a look at that again and kind of familiarize ourselves with it again. There's certain fonts that we use. There's actual, I don't know what they're called, numbers for paint colors, and
Swatch.
what's it called?
Swatch.
Swatch, okay. And then there was the emphasis on the whole branding emphasis, just to make sure that we're consistent and pushing it out there all the time. So yeah, it'll be fun. I think we can look forward to that. Next time we can get on the agenda, and I'll try to put it together. Yeah.
Enjoy, if you want to put that on the agenda, that would be wonderful. Perfect.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so the website's still moving, but the colors are, I'm pulling the colors back out of the original one, so that is going to happen. I'm all about bringing that in, the web too, the colors. I do think that, I know that they play a huge part, I've worked in advertising, so I understand the color schemes need to be there. So they are being pulled back in and trying to find the right hues. So if you do have the swatch and the correct palettes, I can pull those in. And
I think we.
they're a digital number. I just need those. And
Yeah, I'm just looking all over the place for them, because I don't know who has them, and I think I found them.
Oh, that'd be great. Wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Are you looking for the colors?
There's a color, there's fonts, there's a whole presentation, there's a firm came in and did a presentation, I've got the slides and stuff about imports. Yeah, we have those two, and all the fonts, and there's even more, it's a pretty long presentation. I won't do the presentation, but I'll get the information out so you guys can look at it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
All right. Any more public comments? All right. We're going to close public comments. And we're going to move on to old business. This is an ordinance the city of council in Soap Lake, Washington, adopted new chapter 2.47 of Soap Lake Municipal Code establishing a salary commission in accordance with RCW 3521.015, define the powers, duties, eligibility requirements, and processes for said commissions, amending chapter 2.48 of the SLMC to update salaries and set the salaries commission, providing servability and establishing an effective date. will number 2025-1350. And I did place on all councils, there is the RCW 21.015, establishing a salary commission. This will help bring up, I believe, what John, you said today too, 1996, I believe, was when it was first created, the base rate for the commission for council. I do know, Andrew, that you had some concerns about that too coming in. It's important that we do update these. I know we talked about in the past as well. So this would get the ball rolling to create a commission to be able to get the appropriate salary for, for all the needs of the city. And after that, then it was a 2-year term, whatever, that you can have it. But as soon as you establish the salary commission, they approve the appropriate wage thing for that. Then they basically dissipate. And then the next time you need it, they're there when you call them again. All right, so we just need a motion or a second, and then for discussion.
I'll put in a motion, to accept the ordinance of the city.
Just create a salary commission.
Okay, to create the salary commission.
I'll second that motion. Okay, there's a first and a second. Discussion.
I have a question about how long, and is there a length of time for this, or is it indefinite?
No, so it'd be typically around 2 years, I believe. So that's correct, Julie?
I actually set this one up because you may or may not need a salary commission to be just as needed. You're limited by, you can serve 2 terms. So some salary commissions are just a 2-year, or you can serve 2 years. So some salary commissions are 1 term for 2 years, and some salary commissions are 2 terms as needed when they're formed. So this one does not create a perpetual salary commission, because chances are you're going to do the review and then not need your commission again, rather than setting it up and then having terms expire while you may not be using this salary commission. And then you got to refill the salary commission. So it made more sense to set it up as an as needed, because you may set this up once every 5 years.
So I just want to make a general comment on this, especially those of you out in the public, just to be aware, the reason for this is, and I can tell you this from my own, is the salary beyond, I'm council here, after taxes is $64 a month. When I take time off of work to come here, I actually lose out way more than I'm making. So it's more or less a volunteer situation here. And what this does is actually just offset a little bit, and that's what, and it's been years. And so there's been some communication out there, and unfortunately some stuff on the web pages showing these astronomical amounts that people in the public think that council members make and the mayor makes and all that. That is not true. If you have any other questions as far as that goes, you can go to City Hall and get a detail of what everybody gets. But I can tell you that you do this position because you want to be a part of the community, and it's not like, we're asking for $1 million. But it would be nice, there would be a little buffer to, a couple extra dollars with us, because I'd like to maybe even break even. So I just want to throw that out there, because I know that was something that was said when people started hearing about the salary increase.
As I read through the ordinance, I want to assure people that no one on the city council will be on this commission. Is that accurate?
Correct.
So it's you guys.
Right, it's the people.
It's the people. Nobody who is currently on the city council will be on this commission.
Yeah, reading through the ordinance itself, we've got the ordinance.
Yes.
And then we have, it looks like a revision to a current municipal code, is that correct?
Yes.
So is this, did we vote to make a revision and
Oh, that'd be Julie.
Ordinance.
Can you repeat the question for Julie?
Yeah.
What is,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, what is proposed to be amended or modified is that your code in some places sets out what the salary is. So if the salary is to change, what this proposes is they will be paid the salary that is established by the salary commission. So it's just a language change in some of your code sections that would be rendered obsolete or in conflict if you do adopt a salary commission that establishes a new salary.
Yeah, one of the questions that the public may have is what is the current compensation for a council member or the mayor? And the municipal code itself, it does talk about the council, but it doesn't address the mayor's salary. Is that something that's going to be corrected?
It will be established by the salary commission and it may be in the form of a resolution, but yeah, we could potentially put in a, because right now your mayor chapter is just blank. So we could put in a chapter that says the mayor's salary is established by the salary commission or some type of reference.
Okay, very good. Yeah, currently there is no mention to the mayor and his salary. The other question I've got is in regards to, it says that the Salt Lake Salary Commission shall be composed of 5 members appointed by the mayor with confirmation by the council. And then it goes on to say, salary commission members will be deemed to be qualified for the appointment by application only. Interviews are not required. And I don't know, council member, I don't know how I'm going to confirm a commissioner without some kind of interview process.
And you are allowed, this doesn't restrict you from doing an interview. It's just saying to comply at bare minimum with the statute, you don't have to have interviews because say you only get 5 applications, then you can easily just appoint them. Any name that gets brought in front of you for approval onto this commission, you will have to see and approve. So whether you choose to do interviews, you would still have that ability. It's just basically telling you the process is not invalid if you don't have an interview.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I was just thrown by interviews are not required, so I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah, when we have all that set up, they'll obviously how it'll be bring it to you, so you guys feel comfortable, because we want everyone to feel comfortable moving forward about it. Thank you, Julie.
Yep.
And I was gonna ask Eric, but Eric just left, but we also did this at GTA 2 as well. We created a new salary for the current administration here, and that goes into effect during their next session too, so their cost of wage will increase and stuff like that, their mileage that they pay there too as well. So that's brought up to the standards as well. All right, any more discussion? All right, there's been a motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. Thank you, we heard you. This is not gonna move quick. This is gonna be very precise, you're gonna have the information, and then it's gonna give you all each time to be able to be educated with it, and then be involved. All right, we're gonna move on to new business. This right here is discussion for city council meeting dates. The reason why I actually have this put on here is during the beginning of the month, we're gonna try to get the most congestion throughout the month of things to put on the beginning of the month. And currently right now, since Jeff is in Grand Falls and he's particularly remotely right now, I would like to, if possible, if you guys think it over and discuss it, is to move the first Wednesday of every month to the first Thursday of every month. But the second one would still be the same Wednesday of every month. So first and third, so the third would still be a Wednesday, but the first week of every month will be a Thursday. And this will give Jeff the ability to be in the meetings, either be remote and or in person. Yeah. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Thursday for the first week of the month.
Correct.
The third week of the month, it's still
So
Wednesday.
Wednesday, correct.
So it's just we're asking to change it from when.
One day, yeah. And when City Hall opens up, it'll be more, you'll be able to move it around a lot better, then we can have more, a little bit more freedom. I think the only thing that concerns or only that's in the way right now, because the Korea District does have their meetings here on Thursdays at 5:30, 5 to 5:30.
It's usually the third week though, so that might not be.
Okay. Okay. All right, just need a motion, if you guys, a motion a second, you want to discuss it? Don't want to, no?
She don't care.
Can we think about it, get back to it?
Yeah,
next time?
absolutely, yeah, you can do it via email too, so I don't believe this needs a resolution or anything. This is basically you guys letting us know that if this date feels good, and if that's correct, Julie, right?
Do we need a motion to even discuss it?
You don't need a motion to discuss it, but eventually if it is something you want to move forward with, you need an ordinance to approve it. Because it will change your code. So I just would need authorization
I
to draft
think
an ordinance changing it.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to that regard because, well, because I want Jeff here. I mean, I think it makes sense to at least hear from him once in person.
Yeah.
So,
And during the audit process right now, it's important that you hear from him. He can write it financially, he does a really great job of it. But, you know, being a person and talking with him, it helps out a lot.
so I would like to make a motion, that we move the first Wednesday, council meeting to the first Thursday of each month and maintain the second.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second, okay.
John, you're right, son.
Any other discussion? Okay, all right, all in favor?
Wait, we didn't
Oh.
get a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John.
John.
Oh, you did, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You didn't hear me. Discussion.
Sorry.
He doesn't like that.
So I am concerned that we're changing this to accommodate Jeff, which I think is, you know, personally, I don't have a problem with it. But we're asking the public to change their schedule too. And I'm just wondering if we could make it sort of temporary for as long as Jeff is with us, because at some point he might not be.
Right.
As opposed to changing our code to reflect something that we're doing to facilitate something that's helping us currently.
Absolutely, no, I agree with that too, Julie.
So either way, you're gonna have to change your code. So it's, that's what makes it a regular meeting, is that it's in your code and anyone can go there at any point in time. So rather than make it temporary, I would just change it, and then if things happen and you need to change it back, you can change it back. It's not, I mean, it gets confusing either way. But you could change it as many times in a year as you want. It just needs to be by ordinance.
Are you done? Yeah. Okay. I felt the way Kayleen expressed when I first, learned of this being on the agenda. But what I came around to is that I, as a council member, really want him to be here so that I can ask my questions of him with my council members hearing the answers. And so I think that it's because I feel I need his perspective. That's what we pay him for. And I'm really, and I need his perspective. So
It's important.
I want him to be here because it's convenient for me to not have to call him up, talk with you, talk with, whoever I'm going to talk with, what I've been doing. So.
Right, I agree. And part of the future, like Julie said, we can go back. That's not
And
an
yeah,
issue. Yeah.
yes.
Pretty quick.
I kind of agree with the tabling it, just so we can potentially put it out, just to kind of get the public involved a little bit with it instead of just changing it blind. You know, it would be good for them to know why, for them to have the ability to maybe speak on the matter too.
And what I'm proposing is that this may authorize me to prepare the ordinance that you would need, but it will still come back to you for review and approval. So you could use some of that period as well for further consideration. And decide either not to pass it or
That's
table
right.
the ordinance at that time. This is just, the first step is just, I need direction to draft that ordinance, and then you guys still need to consider it, approve it, or table it, or. But either way, either is fine.
Is what we end up wanting to do.
Sure, yes. So I guess this one would be if you want Julie to write up the ordinance, so you guys have time to look it over and have a feel for it, then that would be great too.
Yes.
That's good. All right,
So what's the current motion then?
the motion will be to approve this. We can do it for the motion for Julie to write up the ordinance, so you have the ability and time to look it over. And when she does finish it, I can send it right out to you all.
I think going on what Andrew's saying also, I think, I agree, we'll have it drafted up, but we can put it in the newsletter, get it out to the public for public comment. And then that way we can get input off of that before we vote on something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. All in favor of having Julie write the ordinance and giving you guys time for the next council meeting to review it and discuss it then? Yeah. All right.
Right.
Karen?
Unanimous, thank you.
She says aye.
Thank you. All right, perfect. So we're gonna, we approve this, so the next time she'll have the ordinance. So when you get it done, Julie, if you want to send it over to Jody and I, and then we can send it right out to council, so we have more than enough time to take a look at the review for it. All right, this time here, we're gonna go into executive session, RCW 42.30.110, potential litigation. I don't believe there's gonna be any motion or any action afterwards. If you'd like to stay for the comments at the end, I'd appreciate it. It shouldn't be very long. It should be pretty quick, and we right back up.
Mayor,
Yes,
how much time?
yes, the time, we're looking at maybe, say, 15 minutes. The time right now is 6:58. Exactly, session, correct. And what I'll do here is I will turn the video off of this, and I will give you a call. I'll just pause it and pause the audio, and I'll give you a call right back.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Really have a big problem. Yes. It goes back. Yep, yep.
All right, back to order. The time is 7:25. The executive session has ended. Okay. We're going to move on to the next ordinance 1351, next resolution 1029. And now we're going to open up to comments. Any council member have any comments? Yes. Carlton?
Love the dog park.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I can talk about that. I
Is there a timeline?
So we're gonna be doing this. We have portions of the fence now. We do have funds set aside so we can start dividing them first. We're gonna get the water turned on here soon. There has to be a physical line running there. The one that's currently there is not hooked up. There's no water.
So it's been years since I've been there just because the condition was like, is it loaded with goat heads?
No, it's not too bad.
No, is there any plans to maybe abate that? Cause I could just see that turning into a.
So we're gonna mitigate any grass issues, any tree issues. We will be putting new trees in as well. That will help with shade and mitigate some of the portions of the grass. I think I got mitigate from you. I mean. So we're gonna put things in there strategically placed, one for the grass, one to help lower the having to mowing a larger portion, but give a more playing field for the animals. Either be a turf area, a rock area, a wooden area, but we want it to be fully grass obviously so people can travel through.
So I hate to put you on the spot. So, August 1st, it'll be functional.
There you go.
Public Works is involved. Look at them. Yeah, I think that's a good time frame.
The only, yeah, I would say we have fencing in, we will at least have the frost free that's there, the valve is broken at the bottom. So we have plans in the very, very near future to at least get water there for the trees and the pets.
We are mowing, there is.
Yeah, we are mowing. The only, cameo might be getting the irrigation in, because
so the irrigation, thankfully, we have this thing, it's a huge package called volunteers, and we are calling them volunteers. So they have equipment, and those equipments will be put on the insurance, they'll give us their insurance, and then we'll be start doing sections and rolling lines.
I would say
That's really simple.
August is feasible, yeah.
At least we'll get the weeds mitigated, get the grass taken care of, trees up, and then to get it flowing, so people feel comfortable using it, and more of a park style for animals and their owners, because they'll be able to have maybe a walking path coming up here soon. Yeah, that's good. And then, yeah, would you have a question about the dog park?
No.
No. How about questions about code enforcement?
No. I
Code
have
enforcement is coming too.
something that I promised I'd talk about at the end that's coming up in June.
Yeah.
Okay, so, the people who, have done all the research for, the Bureau, the Quincy Irrigation District, the Department, of Ecology have, reached out to say they want to, and this is James Short, Roger Sonichin, for some of you who know these names, Clyde Lay, they want to come and, present, what they know about the lake level and the, health of the lake. And so, when I said the LLC was handed off to the Silver Lake Conservancy, the Conservancy is taking on, this is the date, June 28th. That's how far out they are. And they will, be here, all 5 of them. And these are key people in the, echelon of the state and the feds, that know about the lake and will share their research with us. 11 to 1. It's a Saturday. I set it up that way because, we want everybody to come.
And if you can give me that information too, in your flyer that you have,
I will.
we'll put it right in the newsletter too.
So that's what I wanted to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then my other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was that there's been a lot of, questions and concerns for code enforcement. So I'm working with Jeff in detail, as well as, Public Works Director, as well as our council member, Susan Carson, to make sure that here coming really soon, code enforcement is going to be growing. We're looking for the budget, we're finding the money, and it's starting to slowly come in. So we're gonna have looking to have we're looking to have a full-time code enforcement officer in the city that will help mitigate a lot of our issues that we're having. And it could be even at the policy level too as well.
Yeah, the past code enforcer,
Yeah,
who's retired, has everything that he has done written down. When I was in the policy committee and he was too, that's the,
Harold's on fire with that. Yeah.
he put everything, so you won't have to start from scratch.
Correct. And Harold is coming back. We have a date, he's coming back. Do you remember the date? Is it 2 weeks? Or-
I believe he said, end of May, he would possibly be back. He's got his granddaughter's graduation, I think, at the end of May.
So we're excited to get boots on the ground. Yeah. Any more comments or? I would like to thank you all. I really appreciate everyone that came here. I appreciate everyone that came out. I appreciate Mr. Page for speaking up.
Hey, just last thing on the code enforcement, again, we encourage complaint forms, taken to City Hall, not the police department, just City Hall. That way we can be aware of problem situations, so that way, as things are going, because more and more we're out there, everybody's watching, all employees, council, everybody, and hopefully we can start mitigating some more of these issues that everybody's complaining about and things that are happening, because, you know, we want this to be a nice, safe, clean community. And, again, you know, your voice will be heard. You just need to speak it, put it in a form, so we have a record of it, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and then it's not just our city, a lot of other cities are having the same exact issue, so there's cooperation that's going on too as well. So you can go online, fill out the form and submit it, and or bring in the paper and just have your concerns brought to the city, right to the city hall. Pretty much.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second? All in favor? Have a great evening, everyone, thanks for coming. Thank you, Julie, very much. Like 42.